Good morning, traders, and welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Monday, December 15th. Okay, let's get into the action this morning. Take a look at the S&Ps. We're up 0.45%. We were up over 0.5%, but this is still positive. We're showing some nice green gains this morning. On the docket for today, there's a number of news stories that are causing this move. You're seeing a little bit of a bounce back from Friday, but on Friday, President Trump said that he's also considering Fed Governor Kevin Walsh as the next Federal Reserve Chairman. Hassett's still like the number one guy, his most likely pick, but Kevin Walsh is another name that's we're going to be hearing more about over the weeks and maybe months to come before President Trump makes his announcement on the next Fed chair. NASDAQ, you got to keep an eye on what's going on at NASDAQ. They announced a bunch of changes to the NASDAQ 100 index effective December 22nd. ALNY, Apple Larry Nancy Yellow, FER, Frank Edward Richard, ISM, Inside, Nancy, Sam, Michael, MWER, Michael William, Edward Richard, STX, Sam Tom, X-Ray, and WDC, William David Charlie. They're all being added, while Biogen, BIIB, Boy India, India Boy, CDW, GFS, Grace Frank Sam, Lululemon, LULU, ON on Semiconductor, and the Trade Desk, TTD. They're all being removed. On the policy front, hey man, expect a vote this week on that Republican bill addressing, the concerns over the Affordable Care Act payments. The Republicans are in disarray. They don't really have a plan. They're trying to build one. They're trying to make a vote, before the end of the year. In corporate news, a big story out there is iRobot. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. ServiceNow, ticker NOW, Nancy Oscar William, they're reportedly close to a deal to acquire Armis for up to $7 billion. NVIDIA, NVDA, they're evaluating the expansion of production of their H200 chips. Apparently, production capacity is said to be exceeding production demand for the H200 chip is exceeding the current output, so they may have to increase that. That's positive, and it's really coming from demand out of China. On the earnings front, Lanier, LEN, Larry, Edward, Nancy, they're reporting after the bell today. And tomorrow morning, you got JBill, JBL, GIS, General Mills, and TTC, Toro. They're all scheduled to report earnings. What else do we see here going on today? Take a look at the European markets. We're looking at the DAX. The DAX is up. It's positive. It's up 76 points, which is 0.32%. It was up almost 0.5%. But seeing gains in autos, seeing gains in banking stocks. London, the FTSE's up 0.87%. I mean, traders are anticipating a rate cut from the Bank of England, which is having a monetary policy meeting this week. The ECB is also meeting this week, but no expected changes in monetary policy are expected. The CAC in Paris is up 0.95%, driven by strength in luxury and industrial sectors. Turning over to Asia last night, and Asia weakened. I mean, and no question about it. You look at the Nikkei, it was down 668 points, which is 1.31%. Led lower by tech stocks. This week there's a Bank of Japan meeting. They're expected to raise rates. The yen strengthened, which is bad for equities. So, there's a lot of negativity in Japan this week. Hong Kong, the Hang Seng fell 1.34%. You saw weakness in tech and property stocks. And in China, the Shanghai Composite fell 0.55%. Listen, they had a bunch of economic reports that were released. There were reports on retail sales and industrial production. They came in lower than expectations, and that's not really positive. Then turning our attention over to oil this morning, and oil, believe it or not, is continuing to weaken. You got WTI at $57.13 a barrel. You got Brent down at $60.83 a barrel. Down about 0.5%. The key catalyst really with oil are the peace talks that are ongoing right now between the U.S. and Ukraine. So Ukraine's making concessions. They want to end this war, so that's kind of positive. They don't really have the money to keep going. So yeah, that would increase and that would reduce the sanctions on Russian oil, which would flood the market. So you're seeing the weakness in oil prices, which is an indication that these peace talks are moving forward. And that would just add to the supply concerns because remember, we're already in an oversupplied situation for 2026. So yeah, oil prices trading down about 0.5% this morning. Okay, moving on, and let's talk about earnings action. Nothing this morning or Friday afternoon. But after the bell today, you got Lanier, ticker LEN, Larry Edward Nancy. They're going to be releasing their EPS is $2.33. Expected move is 6.24%. Tomorrow morning, you got J-Bill. They're going to be releasing their EPS is $2.70. Expected move is 8.99%. Moving on to economic reports. This morning, 8:30 a.m., Empire State Manufacturing Index. 10 a.m., you get the Housing Market Index. In terms of Fed speak, John Williams of the New York Fed, he's going to be speaking at 10 a.m. Stephen Moran, Fed Governor Stephen Moran, is also scheduled to speak today. The Labor Department, hey, they're going to be releasing the non-farms payroll reports for both October and November tomorrow. The data is going to be a little bit suspect because they didn't do their normal data collection methods for the November data. So we've got to be a little cautious, but that's going to be a key release for the markets tomorrow. Okay, let's move on and take a look at the markets and see what is happening this morning. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 26 higher. I got 4 lower. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I see green across the board, all positive. In terms of the news, I mean, Amazon. They were apparently in talks to buy iRobot, but that deal got scrapped. They want no part of it. The losses, the debt with iRobot is pretty big. In terms of Netflix, NFLX, that takeover deal with WBD, it remains hotly contested. Now, P-Sky has the backing of a bunch of Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds, and along with the backing of the White House. So that's a lot of strength for their position in their takeover deal. Remember, they offered a higher cash deal for WBD, whereas in Netflix really offered a cash and stock deal. So the deal's still in flux. I mean, it's got to get approval from the FTC, and we'll have to see if that happens. In terms of Tesla, hey, the stock is trading higher this morning, but the news out there on Tesla is about their board making $3 billion from stock awards, which is a little unusual for the board to make that kind of money from stock awards. But if you look at the volatility in the stock price, you can kind of understand that it's not that crazy. But that could be issued as a negative by the SEC. They could be looking at that board again. Okay, let's move on to Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we got to talk Microsoft. OpenAI is ending its 6-month vesting period for new employees. Hey, they're trying to attract new employees. That's what they need to do. They want to go public, and they want to let any new employees they have to say, listen, you'll be able to profit as soon as you sign on board and we go public. JP Morgan is launching a fund on Ethereum blockchain. Interesting. You look at JP Morgan this morning, the stock is trading higher by about 0.6%. In terms of merger news, it's all about ServiceNow, ticker NOW. Stocks trading is getting hit this morning. But they're near an agreement to buy cybersecurity startup Armis, and the deal that could be worth $7 billion. Kind of positive. In terms of shareholders meetings, Cisco is having one tomorrow morning, and P-Sky also is having one tomorrow. P-Sky, that's Paramount Global. They're trying to do that bid for Netflix. There could be something there. We have to kind of wait and see. In terms of catalyst calls this morning, IDYA, India, David, Yellow, Apple, Citibank added the stock to its 90-day catalyst upside list this morning. That's all I got for news hitting the tape this morning. Okay, let's move on to the stock of the day, and I'm going to go with J-Bill, JBL, John Boy Larry. Earnings are tomorrow morning. The EPS is $2.70. Expected move is 8.99%. They lowered guidance last quarter, so the bar is a little lower, so that's kind of positive. You look at yesterday's call volume, 3,540 calls traded, 3,540. To put volume of 728. That's a wide spread. Open interest is really even, 26,863 versus 25,028. Okay, but major brokers are raising price targets. They do keep strong ratings on the stock. They do like it going into earnings. But for me to get in, at a good price range, I'm thinking 222 to 222.45, somewhere in that area. That's where I'm going to be looking to get in. 222, 225 for J-Bill, ticker JBL, John Boy Larry. That's my pick of the day. Okay, let's move on to the news, hitting the tape this morning and see what we see. If anything happened in the last 15, 20 minutes or so. Okay, WLK, Westlake to cut employees. Okay. ServiceNow is down 4% in the pre-market after talking about the $7 billion deal. Visa's launching stable coins advisory practice. Herbivore announces a new partnership with Ultra Beauty, UTLA. Bitcoin goes below 90,000. What else we got here? Lilly, LLY. EU Medicine Agency approves Mounjaro for extended use late on Friday. SpaceX is preparing to go public next year. Has opened up a secondary share sale that would value the company at $800 billion. Spain has fined Airbnb for $75 million for unlicensed rental listings. Yeah, that's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Friday's pick of the day, which was JD, ticker JD, JD.com. Listen, stock opened up at $29.61, then it hit a high at $29.93. So it eked out to 1%. I'm not thrilled with this one. It is, it does go in the win column, but it wasn't the gain that I was expecting. The stock wound up closing at $29.44 and it's trading slightly lower this morning. But it did make the 1% early on in the morning, so, the volatility was there. The price movement did happen, so you got to appreciate that. Didn't, come close to my entry price, but did move higher. But that concludes today's podcast. Traders, you guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.